truck drivers stuck somewhere in Oyibo. All right, well, on the show this afternoon, of course, we have big stories, and the whole IPOB ESN terrorists issue is one of those that we'll be tracking on the big stories this afternoon. It is really sad what has happened between yesterday and today. Really crazy stuff. Okay, well, the big stories is going to last till 4 p.m. when we bring you the business news. And after the business news, we get to talk about the President Tinubu economic reforms. All right, we'll be looking at the setbacks to the economic reforms. Of course, in his 1 year in office, more like really outlines or what they have achieved. President Tinubu did it in a different way. He had his ministers telling Nigerians what they have done, right? Instead of the president, coming to say, okay, we've done this and that. No, he says everyone in their different ministries would come out and tell Nigerians what they've done, because you guys are working with me anyway. But we'll look at some of the economic reforms. What happened? This government started off with so much, should I say promise? Okay, maybe, because a lot of things the president said he was going to do and people were looking forward to it. All right, but what happened? What are those setbacks? What made the economic reforms not look like something was really done? Okay, so we're going to have a business analyst, Ignatius Chukwu, who is also the regional editor of Business Day newspaper. So he'll be here to have that conversation with us, all right? And afterwards, the news update at 5 p.m., after which we'll talk about security. Yeah, security. So it's in the news. I don't know if you came across it earlier today, where the Force PRO said something about the number of arrests that have been done in 1 year. 29,000. That is a lot. Anyway, so we'll be talking about tackling future threats to public safety. Sounds like big English, but hey, it's as simple as saying, tackling insecurity in Nigeria. But I just wanted to, perk it up a bit. Conversation for today, and we'll have a security analyst to ensure that some of the things that we're seeing now, they're not new, right? Some of them started recently. If what is happening now, or if some of the things that are happening now are not tackled head on. Okay, so how can we actually put a stop to whatever it is that might come up tomorrow, that has the potential of coming up tomorrow as a security threat? Once upon a time, there was no IPOB or ESN threat. Once upon a time, there was no banditry. But today we have them. Once upon a time, kidnapping was not a thing in Nigeria, but today it's a thing. All right, so how do we tackle these things? But of course, at that point, I would like to find out the biggest security threat in your area, because some areas are known for certain things. All right. So that will be the conversation, the last conversation on the show today. All right. 6 o'clock, the major news will come your way. And of course, in between 5 o'clock and of course the 6 o'clock hour, I have some programs. 10 minutes. All right. 5:45, 6:45. And of course, the sports team will be here at 7 to take you on extra time. All right, so head on now to our social media platforms. We're live on Facebook. Join the conversation right there. Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. That's it for Facebook. And of course, Nigeria Info PH on X. All right, you can also engage on what's that thing called? Instagram. Yes, exactly. So you can engage on Instagram. It's Nigeria Info FM_PH. All right, my name is Constance Mega. Great to have you here on the show. Welcome aboard. So let's start with the big stories. I've got 3 of them. The first one, Erisco food case. Court grants Okoli 5 million naira bail. The Punch has that story. I'm taking it from the Punch anyway. It's not like it's just the Punch that has the story. I don't know if you've been following. I want to believe that you've followed that particular story, so you know what the story is about. It's not new to you. It's not the first time you're hearing about this particular one. Okay, but I'm gonna read a part of it just in case. So here goes the story. Justice Peter Lifu of an Abuja Federal High Court today, which is Friday, granted Chioma Okoli bail in the sum of 5 million naira and 2 sureties in like sum. I felt like I read 50 million naira before now. Did I say 50 million? If I said 50 million, that was an error. So the judge held that one of the sureties must be the defendant's spouse or a blood relative with a variable source of income who resides within the jurisdiction. Okay, I actually did not say 50 million. I said 5 million. All right, needed to be sure though. And then the judge also ordered the sureties to deposit a passport photograph each, and he instructed the defendant to also deposit her international passport, if any. In case you don't know, this woman is facing a 2-count charge bordering on cybercrime. Now, here's the backstory here. This lady, Chioma Okoli, was sued over a Facebook post that she made on the 17th of September 2023. What happened? Well, she said something. You know, people get products or buy items and then they decide to, give a review. And so she did. And she made some commentary on Erisco Foods Limited tomato paste. So in her post, she claimed that she bought the Najito tomato mix from Erisco Foods the day before and found it utterly sugary. Now, she mentioned that she normally buys some other products that she said were out of stock by the time she went there to buy. And of course, her post generated reactions and forced the management of the company to involve the police through a petition to the Inspector General of Police. So the controversy also got the attention of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration. Now, NAFDAC had to investigate, right? And of course, at the end of the day, we have this lady in court, and now she's got bail, right? So they're saying her offense is a bailable offense. Okay. Anyway, she's presumed innocent though until proven guilty. All right. So she's gotten bail. That's just where we are right now. We don't know what's going to happen later. Anyway, that's just the story though. The police had something to say about her use of the cyberspace, inappropriate use of the cyberspace and all whatnot. And I remember at some point, some people went on a protest, concerning her detention. Okay, so that's the story though. So the bail that she's getting, it does not necessarily mean she is guilty yet, right? So that's the story, just to let you know. Okay, military confirms killing of 5 soldiers by IPOB ESN terrorists in Abia State. So I'm reading from the channel's website for this one. So the story goes that the military has confirmed an attack on its troops by the terrorists of the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, and its armed wing, the Eastern Security Network, ESN, in Abia State on Thursday, killing 5 personnel. A statement by the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, said the attack took place at Obikabia Junction checkpoint in Obingwa local government areas, adjoining Aba Metropolis, where troops of Operation Udoka were deployed to enforce peace in the area and protect the citizens. So he said the terrorists who attacked the troops in the surprise assault came in 3 tinted Toyota Prado SUVs and others from built-up areas surrounding the checkpoint. Now, the military also confirmed that 6 civilians were killed in the crossfire that ensued between the terrorists and the troops. Well, Major General Buba says investigation is ongoing concerning the attack, and it also says here the military also promised to retaliate the attack on its troops, vowing that their response would be brutal. Okay, so that's that story. It's one of the biggest stories right now in Nigeria. People are talking about it. So there you have it. Now, I don't know if you've come across this one, but I got it from the Guardian newspaper, and here goes the story. Or the headline, actually. Wike, Umahi rank as top performing ministers. Adelabu, others rated low. 1 year in office, that's one of the things going on now. And so a survey which was conducted by the Africa Polling Institute, API, has identified the Minister of Power, Adelabu, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, and Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineke Lokbobiri, as the least performing ministers in President Bola Tinubu's cabinet. Now, this national survey, which was released in Abuja by the API Executive Director, Professor Bell Ihua, was administered between the 1st of May and the 18th. That's this May that is ending today. And the idea is to elicit citizens' opinions and assessments of President Bola Tinubu's first year in office. So Professor Ihua noted that the survey was conducted using a stratified random sampling method, ensuring representation from all nationwide demographic groups. All right, so I'll tell you the number of citizens he said were interviewed. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we continue. Stay tuned. Stories. We've got 3 of them, and I've taken the very first one, which is Erisco food case grants Okoli 5 million naira bail. The Punch News channels television's got that. And Umahi rank as performing ministers. Adelabu, others rated low. The Guardian has that story, and that's where I still am. So back to that particular story. Where did I stop? So the executive director of API, which is the Africa Polling Institute, they came out with a survey, and the result is that the FCT minister Wike, minister for works here, Dave Umahi, ranked as top performing ministers, and he mentioned some others that ranked low. And so he said that 3,996 citizens were interviewed, and they provided a robust and diverse data set for analysis. So he said they asked the citizens to assess the performance of President Tinubu's cabinet to identify the performing and non-performing ministers. And so he said about 68% of them thought that none of the cabinet members had performed well since their appointments. 32% were willing to identify those they considered the top and least performing ministers. And now, based on the responses, here we go. The top 5 performing ministers include Professor Tahir Maman, that's the Minister of Education, with a score of 27%. Former Rivers State Governor, of course, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, with a score of 25%. Ebonyi State's Dave Umahi, Minister of Works and Housing, with a score of 21%. And so, who else is here? Dr. Bosun Tijani, the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, scored 14%, while Professor Ali Pate, Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, scored 12%. On the other hand, the least performing ministers were listed to include Adelabu, Minister of Power. Wale Edu, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. Heineken Lokobiri, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources. Abubakar Kiari, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. And then something else also happened here. Dave Umahi also made the list of non-performing or of least performing. I mean, how did that happen? So he made the list for top performing and least performing. So what happened here? Now, the institute explains that the data listing Umahi among the top performing and least performing ministers may be a result of the mixed sentiments that have engulfed conversations over the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road project, of which he has been in the eye of the storm. All right, I'll leave it there. So let's get to the phone lines now. It's your turn. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0002, and 0817-923-0003. You can also call 0817-923-0007. All right, now let's get to the WhatsApp platform. The number there is 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. Remember, please, we have a call screener. So when you call, stay on the line. Don't be in a hurry to run away. All right. So we have Gift from Yenagoa. Hello, Gift. Welcome aboard.
Mega, good afternoon, my sister.
Good afternoon, sir. Please go on.
Thank you. Let me start with this, I don't know, unknown government, ESN, IPOB or whatever, especially the one of River State, Oyibo. If you could remember, the immediate past governor did something that was so lovely. And these guys took to their heels and left River State. I don't know why they are even coming back. For the news that I heard today, that people were shooting sporadically before the security men now stepped in. The governor of the day should not allow these guys to penetrate an inch into River State. Keep them far from River State. They should continue with the Southeast, no cause for alarm. But in terms of Niger Delta, River State, don't allow them. That is number one. Then the army who is planning to retaliate, they should understand that this is democracy. Go for the killers. Go for those ones that are attacking you. Don't go for innocent persons. But most times our people are the ones causing this confusion. You go and cause confusion, and at the end of the day, your people will be suffering. Let me now address the one of Erisco, Wike, my own leader. That report, as far as I'm concerned, the Minister of Education that they rated higher than Ezebonyi Wike is a big fallacy and the greatest mistake. A lot of persons all over Nigeria and all over the world, they are talking about just one man that is giving the president sleepless nights every day inauguration, and the president said it with his mouth. What has the Minister of Education done? Wike, who is in terms of education, in terms of water resources, in terms of electricity, street lights, every aspect that you ever think about endeavor, the man has touched lives, promotion for the first time, 10 permanent secretaries, backlog, payment of pension, everything. The scholarship, are you not a Omega? Scholarship that he gave to over 3,000 persons in FCT, indigents, all over Nigeria.
All right, Mr. Gift.
Has done that before, not even Aerofire.
Thank you very much. We have Clinton from Bori. Please go on.
My sister, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, what that my brother said to us is that our own brother Wike is a minister of the FCT, where others have their own duty span across the country. But I'm not really to dwell on that. The ministers have failed in delivering the mandate of Mr. President. Now, when the president was about to swear them in, he read the riot act to them. Failed to perform and be sacked. Look at key ministries like Minister of Power, Minister of Finance, Minister of Agriculture. These ministries are very important to any nation. but the ministers have performed below expectations. So I think the president should go ahead and get competent hands that can actually help its administration to achieve the desired result, because the Nigerians will ask for a scorecard at the end of the 4 years. Agriculture, cost of food in the market is very high. A basin of Gary here in River State, small basin 14,000. What are we doing? What is the federal government doing to partner with the state government, the local government, to boost agriculture at the local level? I think these are the areas we should look at for. So I think that the president should be able to look at this ministry, these key ministries that are not performing, and replace them immediately. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Clinton, for calling. So I'm going to have to quickly go on a commercial break, and when I come back, I'll continue with what's it called now? With your calls. All right, so do hold on.
Endlex Properties and Development Limited. Endlex Properties and Development Limited. We are giving a special promo on all our land properties.
Protect the territory of River State. This is one of his important priority as a governor. Good afternoon, my lady, my air lady. I'm in total agreement with the Minister of Power being among the least performing ministers. Instead of improving on power in the country, the power sector is rather going on a downward hill. Please, he should resign. Oh, really? That's from Dave. Hello, Muriel from Okrika. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Constance. Good afternoon.
You're welcome. Go on.
Happy weekend to you.
Happy weekend.
Now, Constance, it is so good that the president is coming out to tell us his ministers that have failed. This is what we've been talking about, Constance, putting round pegs in square holes. You know, you've seen, how did you pick these people? You know that they cannot, you just pick people at random, trying to patronize them. Now you have come on your own to tell us that they failed. Now, Constance, my joy is that the president did not even mention his own ministry as one of the performing ministries. In other words, he too has failed, as a minister. And he is president and is also a minister of petroleum. So he has failed grossly himself. Now, Constance, my concern is, what would they be doing with these ministers that have failed? Would the president be resigning as the minister of petroleum, since he has told us clearly that he has failed?
Hold on, Muriel. I want to understand. Maybe I didn't really hear you the first time. Sorry. When did the president say that he has failed?
Constance, the president did not mention his ministry as one of the top performing ministries. In other words, if his own ministry did not perform well, is you know what he's telling us?
Okay, so hold on. What I presented to you is a survey that was carried out by an independent institute. It's not like President Bola Tinubu came up with this.
Okay.
It's the Africa Polling Institute.
Clearly told us that these are the successful ministries and the other ones are not doing well. So I want to plead with the president to please resign as the Minister of Petroleum and try to take off the other ones and put square holes in square pens. And square pens, look, our son, the former governor, Wike, I say a big congratulations to him, but his own ministry will not benefit us, Rivers people, in any way. Honestly, he's just a caretaker of Abuja, so nothing will come out from there for us. So, it's a good thing that he's mentioned among the performing ministries. It's okay. Kudos to him.
All right. Thank you for calling, Muriel. Hi, Obed from Port Harcourt. Please go on.
Good afternoon, Constance.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much. Constance.
Yes, please.
Performance or no performance, what is the reflection on an average life of Nigerian citizens with all this rating of performance? How many people have been taken out of poverty? How many persons gain employment under the administration from the next 1 year? Last 1 year, I mean. That is how to rate performance. You don't rate performance when there is nothing on ground. When people are suffering, we are rating performance. Why are we asking about performance here? Who has performed? I want to ask. How has it reflected to the life of citizens of this country? So for me, I'm not seeing any performance here until we begin to see reflection in the life of the citizens of this country. So if not for that, there is nothing like performance. The rest anybody all of them zero. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Who's this? Obed. All right. So Nwokoma is calling from Oyibo. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Should I go on?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yes. The killings on Obikada Junction 5 minutes and then we are shut down. Everybody are not happy with it. But I am wondering, there has been killings across the northern provinces, more especially the military personnel have been killed and the police have been killed by terrorists across the northern province, the north central and other parts of the nation. Why is it that any killing in southeast it will be related to IPOB? Let federal government not allow IPOB to be them. IPOB, I know them, they are not terrorists.
Really? You do know? Hold on now, please. Mr. Nwokoma, are you in Nigeria at all? You do realize that the group has been proscribed by the federal government of Nigeria as a terrorist organization.
What am I aware is that
okay, you're not aware. Okay, so be informed, all right? Now, even when some of those terror activities happen in the north central and some of those places in the north, they're also attributed to the group or the groups that carry out the terror attacks. If you're not hearing bandits, you're hearing Boko Haram. So they're also attributed to those groups as well, to the groups that carry them out. All right? Madam Dota from Kokana, welcome.
Thank you, Constance. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes. Talking about performance, let me please congratulate the Minister, FCT. I want to say that he has tried because it's among those that have performed. Talking about whether it affects us or not, I also know that a lot of men and women of Rivers State are now on federal appointment costing his office. But let me ask to say that my sister Constance, I'm not ready that any of them should resign. Because you see us, we are very funny people. They will tell us in River State, in Port Harcourt, that 1 year is not enough to show any performance. But when it has to do with the president, they will tell us that you should have done all the things that he needed to do. I want to say that I support them not to resign, but to try their best to see that things get better. Madam Dasako Kana. Thank you and have a nice day.
All right, you too. Thank you. Ndukwe from Wimpy. Welcome aboard.
You nearly finished my credit.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. I was hearing you people talking about performance. Am I right?
Yes, there's a poll, a survey that came up with a result for the least and highest performing ministers.
What I want to say about it is, as an economist, they are rating that standard for themselves, not for Nigerians, because there is nothing to rate there.
Well, at the end of the day, according from the institutes that carried out that survey, they said they asked Nigerians.
They are just jokers.
No, they're not.
They know what they are doing.
It's a reputable institute, and they carried out a survey asking Nigerians questions.
Since Buhari was the Minister of Petroleum and he's out of office, have anybody called him for questioning on how petroleum and money accrued from there?
So you hold on now. Let me understand. I want to get what you're saying. Are you expecting an institute that carries out surveys to go and be questioning ministers?
Then why are we calling ourselves a country?
Oh, Lord have mercy. All right, Mr. Ndukwe.
Why?
Thank you very much.
We just like joking.
All right. Thank you very much. Whew. It's amazing. Okay, I was hoping to play the recordings from WhatsApp. So Ida from Okoro will be the last call I'm going to take right now. Ida, please go ahead.
I greet you specially.
Go on. Welcome.
I'm pleading with the army not to release for their retaliation. It's 100 who might go. 100 who will go for peace. They should please forgive and forget. If it's quick, they should please. I'm begging them.
So Ida, hold on. I want to understand what you mean by they should forgive and forget. So what exactly are you saying?
My sister, if you kill one army, 100 souls will go for one army.
How does 100 souls, or how do 100 souls go for one?
I've seen it before. If you kill one army, when they enter into your village, they will kill innocent people. So that's I'm pleading with them not to retaliate. Please. Thank you very much. God bless you. From Nkoro.
Anyway, you're the one who's making the allegations there, making it sound like they go on a killing spree. So if the military says they will not allow this to, just go, it means that, I believe, it means they will go after those who committed this heinous crime. It is something condemnable. It is. I mean, these guys were mounting their duty posts. They were just doing their job, and they were attacked and killed. We're not at war here, so we shouldn't have these kind of stories and these kind of things happening. Thank you all the simple calling. Let's listen to some of the voice notes I've got here on WhatsApp. We'll start with this one.
Good afternoon, Constance. My name is Adelabu Chikano. I want to first and foremost condemn the killing of military officers in Aba. The killing is uncalled for. Having said that, I equally want to condemn the action and inactions of the military and the police in Abia State and other southeastern states. I want to ask, is Abia State and other eastern states under military siege? If you go to majority of the main roads and junctions, you see police officers, you see military officers collecting money from our people. It is painful. It is very, very painful. Having said that, I want to ask the military how they did the investigation under 2 hours and came out with the fact that it was the killing was conducted by IPOB and the ESN. Nigeria is just becoming a joke. You need to go sublime and do a thorough investigation and unravel the killers. Some tabloids say it's unknown gunmen. It's just
okay. Until that happens, let's see who else is here. Please help me and keep your recordings. Just keep them at 1 minute, please. I've just got a lot here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Niger Info. My name is Oyenuchia Stephen. The criteria of which our leaders use to select or to nominate ministers is what I don't know. Are they using these offices to patronize their friends who work for them during election to give them ministerial appointments? Because that is why when they give them this portfolio, they will work for 4 years and we don't see anything they work for. The whole ministry of Nigeria have collapsed. Ministry of Power is there is no power supply. Ministry of Transportation is there, transportation is cost everywhere. Then the Ministry of Petroleum, which is number one citizen of Nigeria, the president, we don't have fuel. Everybody is suffering. Does that mean that Nigeria, after having the president, there's no other person who is reasonable to handle the office of Minister of Petroleum in Nigeria? The Ministry of Commerce is there. All the price of commodity in Nigeria is going up. What are we even? I don't understand the kind of government Nigeria is practicing, because I see Nigeria as a nation who does not practice true democracy. We are still in internet slavery with our colonial masters. We export our crude and we import it back as a refined good and bring it to the people to suffer from here.
All right, thank you, Onyenucheya Stephen. Who else? Hector.
Good afternoon, Constant. Hector. Out of 40 to 45 ministers, only 5 ministers or thereabouts made the list of performing ministers. This indicates that the president has failed, because if majority of the ministers has failed, it means that the president has failed. And so if the president wants to have a good record at the end of his 4 years administration, I think it's either he fired those ministers or there should be cabinet reshufflement. Perhaps some of the ministers are not doing well in the ministries that they are. So maybe if he can do cabinet reshufflement, they might, do well in their new ministries, if he really wants to have a good scores at the end of his administration. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ernest from Woji says Umahi was seen to be performing when he was performing wonders in the demolished beach in Lagos without due process. For the unknown gunmen, when the army retaliates, people won't cry to Gaza Embassy of Human Rights Abuse. Ernest from Woji, I don't even understand what that is. Simply Goodness from Alakahe says, Constance, I hail thee. I know. I get what you're trying to do. Talking of that survey that rated Wike and Umahi as the best performing ministers in the past 1 year. Most times, statistics do lie. And whoever conducted that survey with whatever sampling technique that was used may not be totally true. You can imagine Wike ranked amongst the best performing ministers with 25%. No BF that. For the Erisco matter, this is a lesson to those who like posting defaming contents. Finally, civilians should try to be avoiding army wahala. The repercussion is not usually nice. Simply Goodness. So just to remind you of what that survey came up with, right? The highest performing minister, who is it now? Let me see. It wasn't Wike, it wasn't Umahi. I'm trying to find. Okay. Tahir Maman, the Minister of Education. And he scored 27%. That's the highest performing minister with 27%. Sami from Rumukini says all current Nigerian leaders, whether presidents, senators, House of Representatives members, they have all completely failed Nigerians. And then who else is here now? Let's see yours. CP Ozuke from Maoda says, good afternoon. For me, the following ministers scored 0 and they should be sacked. The Minister of Petroleum, the Minister of Economy and Finance, the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Power. All right. And then Wike Odinaka says the killing of 5 soldiers in the southeast is condemnable and should be stopped to avoid reprisal attack from the military, which will negatively affect the innocent ones. And then you say, and as for the performance scorecard, I think that President Tinubu and all his ministers have failed the country based on the amount of money that each of the ministers have received during the period under review. But anyways, I say congratulations to all those who made the top of the list from the survey. Wike Odinaka. So I had to draw your attention, right, to the fact that even the highest scoring minister did not get up to 50%. It's 27%. All right. So that when you are commenting, you'll be sure of what you're basing your comment on. 27%. And that's out of 100. And they rightly said that a lot of people were not interested really to score them. You know, people were like, in fact, nobody performed well. They said out of over 3,000 people they interviewed, 68% just felt like none of the ministers performed well since their appointments. It's just about 32% of them that gave this response that we have now. All right. So we have a commercial break now. And so after that commercial break, I'll come back and I'll take a couple of calls and messages. And then the news comes up. After that news, we'll get to talk about the economic reforms of President Bola Tinubu and the setbacks. So stay tuned.
All right, good day, everyone. We have a representative from Endlex Properties and Development Limited, and Mavis joins me here in the studio today. Mavis, you're welcome.